Today, we're talking about why even high-earning NRIs in UAE are broke and why wealth has absolutely nothing to do with your paycheck. Hello, fellow Arbab. It's time to boss your money. Let me tell you about two people I personally know. Person A, let's call them Bob, earns 11,000 dirhams a month. Person B, let's call them Sob, earns 45,000 dirhams a month. Both in their mid-30s, both married with one kid. Now, if I ask you which of these two would be wealthier, you'd probably say Sob, right? Over 4 times the salary. They'd obviously be rich. You'd be completely wrong because it's not that simple. And if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but that's probably a one-off extreme example. Let me stop you right there. In my 18 years working in finance and auditing, I've seen this exact scenario play out literally hundreds of times in personal finance and even in corporate finance. Tell me if your parents have said this. Beta, study hard so you can get a good job. Mine did. Yours probably did too. And you know what? They weren't wrong. Getting a good job is important. But here's what nobody told us. Getting a good job is only step one. What you do after getting that good job, that's what actually determines if you build wealth. Think about it. We spend our entire childhood optimizing for one thing: getting the highest paying job possible. We had to become an engineer, doctor, or CA, even if we hated it. Did you know that being a video game tester was a real job? We moved across the world to Dubai, away from family, friends, hanging out the local tea kadai, all for a higher salary. And then what happened? We got the good job. We got the big salary. But here's the thing, we can't admit it, can we? Because admitting you're broke when you earn 30,000-40,000 dirhams a month feels ridiculous. So instead we say things like, I'm earning this much money, why settle for a 2-bedroom when I can go for a 3-bedroom? I need the BMW X5. Yes, I need a loan for it, but I can't be seen driving a Yaris I bought with cash. The other one I hear often is, I'm building my lifestyle now. I earn a ton, I'll save later. Does any of this sound familiar? Was any of this you? Let me hit you with an uncomfortable truth. If you can't build wealth on 25,000 dirhams a month, you won't build wealth on 50,000 dirhams a month. On the flip side, if you can build wealth with 25,000 dirhams a month, you probably can build wealth with 5,000 dirhams a month, because wealth isn't a salary problem. It's a habit problem. I have two stories to prove this exact point. Let's take the story of Mike Tyson, the legendary boxer. Mike Tyson earned over $400 million in his boxing career. That's 1.46 billion dirhams or 3,400 crores in rupees. By 2003, he filed for bankruptcy with liabilities of over $23 million. Let that just sink in for a second. You can earn $400 million and still end up in debt. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but dude, I'm not buying Bengal tigers and golden bathtubs like Mike Tyson. I'm just living normally. But are you though? Let's talk about the Dubai normal in just a second. But first, story number 2. Ronald Reed. Ronald Reed was a janitor and a gas station attendant from Vermont, USA. Never earned more than minimum wage his entire life. Reed famously uses safety pin on his denim jacket so he could continue wearing it. Someone once paid for his meal because they thought Reed couldn't afford it. He owned a used Toyota Yaris, which when possible, he apparently parked in spaces that did not have parking meters, all to save that few pennies. His estate was worth 8 million US dollars. That's almost 30 million dirhams or 68 crores in INR. Not even his own family knew about how much wealth he had actually accumulated. A janitor who never earned a fancy salary left behind more money than most corporate executives will ever even see. How? He bought dividend paying stocks, reinvested everything, and repeated this for 60 years. That's it. No secret, no luck, just habits.
Nice.
I'll leave Ronald Reed's entire Wikipedia article linked below if you'd like to read through it. Now here's what I see constantly in Dubai, and I want you to be honest with yourself as I go through the list. The car trap. You earn 20,000 dirhams. You buy a 500,000 dirham BMW and pay 8,000 dirhams a month in EMI. That's 96,000 dirhams a year on a depreciating asset. I can hear you in the comments screaming, Habibi, I need a nice car. No, you need transportation, reliable transportation. Also, a 2-year-old Accord is a nice car. You don't want a nice car, you want a car that makes you look successful. There is a difference, and that difference is costing you real wealth. Friday brunch is 300 to 400 dirhams per person every single week. That's 20,000 dirhams a year. Do that for 10 years and you've spent 200,000 dirhams on what exactly? Unlimited drinks and photos of your ex-Benedict. If you'd invested that 20,000 dirhams per year at 10% returns, you'd have almost 350,000 dirhams after 10 years. But hang on, there's more. If you'd taken that 350,000 and left it without touching it, without adding another penny to it for another 20 years till your retirement, you'd be left with 2.5 million dirhams just from that brunch money. But instead, you have Instagram posts and a hangover.
Whoa, nah, I never knew that.
The back home trap. This one hits different for NRIs. We send money back home, which is a beautiful and important thing. I'm not saying don't support your family, but I've personally seen people earning 25,000 dirhams a month, sending 15,000 of that back home and living on 10,000 dirhams a month. Zero savings. And here's the wild part. This isn't a high earner problem. I recently met someone earning 5,000 dirhams who was sending 4,000 of that back home. That's 96,000 rupees a month. His family back home is living comfortably while he's here going into debt. Whether you earn 5,000 or 50,000, the pattern is the same. If you're spending more than you earn, you're broke. The only difference is the size of the hole you're digging. Here's a question nobody wants to answer. What happens if you need help? When you're 50 with no savings, no retirement plan, and your parents need medical care, that costs more than you have. You can't help anyone if you're drowning yourself. And the golden handcuffs, that's the scariest trap of all. You've built a lifestyle that requires your current salary. Your rent requires it, your car payment requires it, your social life requires it. You can't take a better opportunity in another country because your salary is lower. You can't start that business you've been dreaming about. You can't take a break to study or upskill. You're not working because you want to. You're working because you have to. Because your lifestyle is a prison and your salary is the only key. That's not wealth. That's the opposite of wealth. Let me show you something that will blow your mind. The high earner scenario. Person A earns 80,000 dirhams a month but saves 0% of that. After 25 years, he'd have 0. Person B earns 25,000 dirhams a month but saves just 20% of that, which is 5,000 dirhams a month. That 5,000 invested at 10% CAGR after 25 years will net him 6.5 million dirhams. The person earning a third as much ends up a multimillionaire. The person earning tons ends up with nothing. Now I can already hear you saying, my friend, if I earn 80,000 and I save 20%, I'd have way more. And you're absolutely right. You'd have over 20 million dirhams after 25 years. But here's my question. If you're not saving anything now on your current salary, what makes you think you will suddenly develop the discipline when you earn more? I've spent 18 years in corporate finance and auditing, seeing patterns with colleagues and peers across every salary level. You know what I've learned? People who save 0% of 20,000 also save 0% of 40,000. The math doesn't lie. A 1% increase in your savings rate beats a 1% raise in salary when compounded over time. Because the raise gets spent, the savings gets invested. Okay, enough tough love. Let's talk solutions. Because here's the good news. Wealth is a habit and habits can be built. Habit 1. Pay yourself first. Automatically. Not save what's left at the end of the month. That is an absolute joke. There's never anything left. Set up an automatic transfer on salary day. 20% of your salary goes straight into that investment account. Before rent, before anything. You can't spend what you don't see. And you know what's wild? Within 2 months, you won't even miss it. You'll just adjust. Habit 2, the 48-hour rule. Any purchase over 500 dirhams, Wait 48 hours before buying. You'll be shocked how many must-have purchases suddenly seem stupid after 2 days. That's not just discipline. That's just giving your logical brain time to catch up with your emotional brain. Habit 3, track one number. Forget complicated budgets. Look, it is important to budget if you're spending more than you make. But overall, look at the big picture. Track one number, your net worth. That's total assets minus total liabilities. In other words, what you own versus what you owe. Update it monthly. Put it in a spreadsheet. When you see that number grow, you'll get addicted to growing it. When you see it shrink, you'll panic and fix it. You can't improve what you don't measure. Habit 4, lifestyle inflation. Here's the rule. When you get a raise, your investment growth should always outpace your lifestyle inflation. Annual raise from 25,000 to 30,000, use that 5,000 strategically. Take 60 to 70%, that's about 3 to 3,500 dirhams of it, and put it straight into investments. Automate it. The remaining 30 to 40% or 1,500 to 2,000 dirhams, use that to improve your lifestyle a little. Living life matters. Get a nicer apartment. Enjoy your midlife crisis car. Nobody's stopping you. Who cares? Just make sure your wealth grows faster than your spending grows. But bonuses and commissions, that's a whole different ballgame. Take 10 to 15% for your one-time treat that you'll actually remember. The other 85 to 90% goes straight into investments. Why? Because bonuses aren't guaranteed. You can't build a lifestyle on money you may or may not receive in your next pay cycle. But you can build wealth with it. Your lifestyle runs on your confirmed fixed monthly salary. Your bonuses build your freedom. Habit 5, the 3-fund reality check. You need 3 funds running in parallel. Emergency fund, which is 6 months expenses in a savings account. Not invested. This is your stuff happens fund. Then we have your goal fund. Specific goals with timelines. House down payment, wedding, a new car, each gets its own sub-account. And then we have our wealth fund. These are for long-term investments. This money does not exist until you're 50 plus, until you retire. You don't touch it. You don't think about it. It just grows. Most people have 0 of these 3. You need all 3 running at the same time. Here's what I need you to understand. Being wealthy and being Instagram wealthy are completely opposite goals. For most of us normal salaried folk, the people who look wealthy are actually broke. The Habibis who are wealthy usually look normal. Ronald Reed, the millionaire janitor, he looked broke his entire life because he understood something that most people never learn. Every dirham you spend looking wealthy is a dirham you can't use to be wealthy. In Dubai, this is especially hard because we are surrounded by visible wealth. Your colleague's new car, your friend's vacation photos, the influencer's designer bag. But here's what you don't see. The car loan that will take 5 years to pay off, the credit card debt funding those vacations, the $2,000 wallet with no money in it. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And it's making you broke. Stop trying to impress people who don't care with money you don't have. To buy things you don't need. I know that sounds harsh, but someone needs to say it. Look, I'm not preaching from some high horse here. I've made these mistakes too. Early in my career, I fell into the same trap. I saw my colleagues with fancy cars and thought I should have that too. I saw my friends taking expensive vacations and I felt left out. And the difference is, at some point I sat down and did the math, and the math terrified me. I realized I was optimizing for the wrong scorecard. I was trying to look successful instead of being successful. So I made a choice. I chose boring wealth over exciting poverty.
It's smart, Michael. It's very smart.
And now, years later, I sleep better. I stress less. I have options. I'm not trapped by my lifestyle. That is what wealth actually feels like. Not a fancy car or a big apartment. It feels like freedom. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, track every single dirham you spend. Not to judge yourself just to see where it's actually going. I guarantee you will be shocked. That small coffee habit, it's 3,000 dirhams a year. That occasional food delivery orders, 8,000 dirhams. The subscriptions you forgot you had, 2,000 dirhams. You don't have an income problem. You have an awareness problem. Challenge 2. Calculate your net worth today. Write it down, put a date on it. Check it again after 6 months. If it's negative, don't panic. Just commit to making it less negative. If it's positive, commit to making it grow by at least 10%. Remember, you're not competing with your colleagues or your friends or those you follow on Instagram. You're competing with your past self. Look, I get it. We moved to Dubai to earn more and live better. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying life. But there is a difference between enjoying life and mindlessly spending money to fill a void or impress people who don't matter. Beta, study hard so you can get a good job was good advice, but it was incomplete advice. The complete version should be, beta, study hard so you can get a good job, then feel free to have fun, but also save, invest, and build wealth. Life can be stressful. Meeting with an accident, falling sick, even good things can be stressful, like welcoming a newborn. I get it. Why do you want to add financial stress to that list? It's probably the easiest one to escape. Your salary doesn't determine your wealth. Your habits do. Yes, making more money helps you grow that wealth, but just more income does not guarantee you wealth. Janitor Reid understood this. Mike Tyson did not. Don't be like Nick Cage and blow it all on castles and dinosaur skulls, or the Dubai equivalent, leased Porsches and penthouse brunches. Be like the janitor or Bob. Be boring. Be wealthy. Yalla Bob. Now go boss your money.